Do you know that shirring automatically transforms your plain fabric into a stretchy piece using elastic thread? Hi guys, let's make a new top. This top will have halter neck, it also have a cawl neck, and then it has shirring at the back of the top. So you want to draft out your basic body. Yes, please go ahead and draft out your basic body, having your shoulder, your chest line, your bust line, your waistline, and the full length you want your top to have. If you have done that, then we can now proceed. So right here, I am just labeling the pattern before we start cutting. A lot of details will be shared in this tutorial, so please stay through to the end of this tutorial. Yes, I promise at the completion of the pants I posted earlier will be posted next, so watch till the end of this video to get the tutorial on how to attach your pockets. I promise you everything is in this video. Now go over to your shoulder line. You're going to place your tape rule from the neckline, which of course the width should be 3 inches. Then you're going to take out 2 inches away from that shoulder line. You're going to take out 2 inches away from that shoulder line. All right, so you're going to mark it, taking out 2 inches, right? So we'll connect that 2 inches all the way to our armhole, and that will be the new armhole. So this is me using my French curve to connect from my armhole line all the way to that 2 inches we just marked. If you want the halter neck effect to be more sleeveless or more tiny, if that's the right word, you can take out more than 2 inches from that shoulder line. I hope you understand. So right now we have gotten the new armhole. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight the new line to make it obvious. Yes, so I've gone ahead to cancel the old armhole because that's no longer the armhole we'll be using. We've created a new armhole. So this is what we have, you guys. So once you've done this, please, if you've not drafted a basic body block, there are 1 million videos online that will show you how to do that. Okay, this is so that the video will be straight on business. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go over to that shoulder line, and then I'm going to extend it. You remember our top extended all the way to the back of the neckline. All right, so to achieve that, I'm going to attach like an extension to that shoulder line. I'm going to add about 6 inches extra. Okay, yes, so I'm going to fix this to the shoulder line using a tape, sellotape rather. Now I've done that, and this is what I have. Okay, you can go ahead and use your sewing machine to just stitch it if you don't have a sellotape. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to trim out following the armhole line, the new armhole line, emphasis on the new armhole line. Okay, so I'm going to trim out like so, as you can see. So guys, this is what we have. It's coming along gradually. So the next thing I'll do now is just to adjust the length to my desired preference. Okay, I'm sure you've done that earlier in this video. Now the next thing we're about to do is to give that cawl effect going on the neckline of our halter neck top. Okay, now how do we achieve that cawl thing going on? Very easy. Simply move to your chest line and cut through. Please make sure you do not cut the extreme of that armhole. Okay, just enough to still secure your armhole together like this. So now you are going to extend or open it up as wide as you would want. If you want your cawl to fall abundantly, you're going to open that chest line you cut through already, open it as wide as you want. Okay, that will be the determinant for the depth of your neck line, your cawl fall rather. So yeah, the next thing I want to do now is to get my main fabric. We're going to do that practical on the fabric. Now if you are just practicing to see if you get the design you want, place that pattern on a new pattern, confirm that you got the design you were trying to achieve before you now place on your fabric. Do you get that? Now for me, I already know that I'm on the right track, so I'm going to place that directly on my fabric, and then I'm going to cut out. This is so easy, and once you've created this pattern, you can always use it to draft as many tops as you want. I hope you observed that my fabric is on fold. This means that I folded it into two. Okay, now I'm going to get my pattern paper. The center of my paper should be on the area of the fabric that is on fold. I repeat, the center of my pattern paper should be on the folded area of my fabric, just like you see on the screen. Okay, very important detail. Now I'm going to open this up as wide as I want. I don't want so much cawl thing going on, alright? So I'm just going to extend it like this. So you can see that I'm just adjusting and adjusting it till I get the perfect position or the perfect size I want. Now, once I get the perfect extension I want, I'm going to cut out like you see on the screen, okay? Please do your due diligence and watch closely, okay? So that you don't fold your pattern or your pieces. Cut on the right areas, add your seam allowance and all of that good stuff, okay? Now I'm done cutting out. There's nothing I love more than showing you guys results. So this is what I have, okay? Now by the time I drag that center, you can see it's already giving cawl, it's already giving fall, it's already giving halter neck. So guys, my guys, this is practically what you need to be able to draft this pattern. You see, very easy, very easy. If you're going to double this, go ahead and cut out the interface as well, because I will be doubling it, so I'm going to cut my interface immediately. Now after doubling it, the next thing you want to do now is to seam the neckline up. So I'm going to place my double right on the main piece, and then I'm going to stitch around about the neckline, just like you see on the screen. So I'm highlighting the areas where you're supposed to stitch, right? So you stitch from the neckline like so. I'm showing you the sewing process so that I can achieve the neat top I achieved, okay? So we're going to close the neckline and then the armhole, all right? You see where I highlighted the neckline and the armhole. You can see that I have double layer there. I'm interfacing with this exact same fabric, okay? So that when my cawl effect falls, you won't be seeing the wrong side of the fabric. So let's take this to a sewing machine right about now. So I've gone ahead to interface the front piece. I locked the neckline, the armhole, and as well the hem of the top, and then I turned it over through both sides, okay? You can see that the sides are left open. Now the next thing we're going to do is to go and iron this. Iron it very flat so that the seam lines are not visible. Then we'll also start cutting the back. Now for the back as well, get a body block you've already drafted, okay? And we're going to cut out let's just say we'll cut out the yoke from the shoulder to the chest line. We're going to take that out because you saw how the back of the top is, right? The back does not have any shoulders, okay? So the back is like a tube. So to achieve that, so first of all, cut out the shoulder to chest line, take it out. So I folded it in, assuming that I've taken it out. Do you get? So this is what you have. This is what we are working with for the back. Now, we all know that the back is not a plain fabric, like it's not just a normal fabric. We have to like get that smoky effect. Now, smoky or shearing is like gathering your fabric using elastic thread so that it can be as comfortable as possible on the skin. Okay, so I'm going to get my main fabric and I'm going to fold it into two. I'm going to place it on fold, and then we'll get the pattern paper and place right on top of it. We're not going to be cutting exactly what we have on our pattern paper, all right? We're going to be adding some extra inches to allow for the gathering, okay? Now, if you're doing a smoky or shirring, please, you need to add enough fabric so that after you have added the whole elastic thread thing, when you're putting it on or when you're wearing the dress, the thread doesn't start pulling out or cutting. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So for you to have a very, very comfortable smoky dress, please make sure you add enough extra fabric, because after gathering, the fabric will shrink to be way smaller. So you want to add enough fabric. Now what I did here is to add some excesses from the center of my pattern. You can see that I have some excesses at the center of my pattern. Okay, I added about 10 inches extra, but that was quite too much because the fabric is of fold. So 10 plus 10 is actually 20 inches extra, and that's too much. So you can make yours like 15 or 12, but I strongly advise that you make it excess. Let it be more than enough, then you can now trim the excess. Okay, yes. Now while cutting, I added 1.5 inch allowance at the top and half inch allowance at the hem. Why did I do that? Because I'll be folding the fabric at the hem using half inch, while I'll be folding the fabric at the top using about 1 inch. That was why I added that allowance. I hope you understand that. Yes. Then already the sides, you know how we got the sides, because we placed our pattern paper. I think this is clear enough. Now it's time to start the smoking. Let's start shirring. Okay, so the first thing you do is to hem or fold the hem of your fabric like so. I've gone ahead to fold this on the sewing machine. You can see the upper part is about 1 inch fold and the down part is half inch fold. You can see it is very, very obvious. Okay, yes. Now that we're folded, you can decide to iron your fabric so that it is flat as possible. The next thing we'll do now is to go to the sewing machine and we'll start stitching with our elastic thread. If you're doing this for the first time, you should get a thread like this. This is the elastic thread. If it is not stretching, then it is not elastic thread. So this is how the elastic thread looks like, right? Yes, when you stretch it, it stretches. So that is the elastic thread. So how to reel it? You reel it with your hands. Okay, when you reel it with your hands, it's tighter than when you reel it with the machine. I mean, whatever works for you. Okay, so now I'll get my normal thread as well. This is the normal black thread. that is not stretchy. Now the essence for this elastic thread is that we're going to reel it on the bobbin. Okay, so this is me reeling with my hands. You can reel with the sewing machine, but reeling with the hand, like I said earlier, is tighter. So I'm going to reel until my reeler is full of the elastic thread. And once I've done this and the reeler is full, I will now move to the sewing machine. Sorry, shortly before we go to the sewing machine, I am almost done and I'm done with reeling. Now we're going to insert the reeler in the shuttle. Now I want to show you something. If you're using a tight shuttle, you are going to struggle. So when you want to do like Smokey sewing, make sure you loosen the shuttle, like let it be loose. Okay, usually you should have a shuttle for shearing and shuttle for normal stitches. Don't use the same shuttle you use to sew your straight and tight stitches to also do shearing. It's going to spoil the shuttle. So have one for your Smokey designs and also have another shuttle for your tight stitches. Okay, all right, good. So you can see the normal thread and then we have the stretchy thread which is in the shuttle. Okay, now I'm going to test run this on pieces fabric to be sure that all is well, and once I confirm that, I can now go in with my main fabric. Now on that reverse lever, please make sure that it is at the very bottom, like the loosest. Okay, on 6 you should leave it on 6. Okay, you have no business running any tight stitch with the Smokey stitches. All right, so you can see that on this very stiff fabric it is still stretchy, so the stitches are tight and neat. Now I can now go in with my main fabric. Now please ensure that you are leaving ½ inch gap or whatever gap you want to use. Maintain the same gap. Don't sew the first line and second line with the interval of 1 inch and then the next line you are going in with another interval of ½ inch. It's going to make your work look very rough, mediocre and unpresentable. So I am saying that you should maintain the same intervals on every line. I was just oiling my machine to lubricate it because for this stitching we need a very swift and fast movement. Okay, so that's it. Now let me just say this, please make sure that the normal thread is sewing on the right side of your fabric. Okay, the stretchy thread should be on the wrong side. When you sew and you notice that the stretchy thread is on the right side, please, you've made a mistake. Loosen it and recreate the stitches. All right, so the normal thread should be on the right side of the fabric and then the stretchy thread should be on the wrong side. It should not be seen when you're wearing your clothes, when you've worn the clothes. Okay, thank you. Now remember that the first line will be on that line you used to fold the hem of your fabric, like myself, and then I've made my second line and this right now is my third line. So this is what we have. This is what it's looking like. See how neat and stretchy. In fact, the lighter the fabric, in fact, the more it accepts the stretchy thread. So this is how it is coming along. I just wanted to show you guys what we are doing. Now I'll go back to the sewing machine and fill it up. This is a long walk. If you made Smokey dress before, you know as they go. This is going to take quite a while, but if you're focused, you'll finish on time. So yeah, you can do this for your sleeves, you can do it for your waistline, you can do it. There's just be creative, okay, with it. But right now we are using it for the back of our top. So let's continue. Front piece have been feeling left out, so I brought her back to the screen. This is our Smokey completed. The shearing has been sheared. So yes, so the last and final thing we'll do is to stitch both sides of the front and back piece together. Okay, so I noticed I didn't show you guys how I seamed that shoulder line together. So this is what I simply did. You know the way we do shoulder seam now. So I'm going to go through this side and then I'm going to inseam the shoulder lines like so. Inseam, what did I say? Inseam. Okay, so that's how I seam the shoulder lines. Next thing I will do now is to actually join the front piece and the back piece together. All right, so right here I'm just pinning up and then I'll check with my tape to see if I have as much as I need, and of course I do. So go ahead and stitch down, and that will be that on how to create this beautiful smoky top. Okay, you're going to weave the sides because I did so myself as well after joining. Now to fix our pocket, the first step is to take out the 2 inches we marked out for the pocket. I know I marked it on the pattern paper, but I am yet to cut it out. Okay, so we're simply going to cut out. Yeah, so right here I am just effecting that 2 inches by 6 which we had on the pattern paper. I'm just effecting the same thing on the main fabric. Okay, and after that I'll just cut out like so. After that, the next thing we're going to do is to cut out a rectangular piece of fabric. We'll be using this piece of fabric for the pocket. Remember that our pocket is a very vital part of making our trouser look full. Okay, so now I have 2 pieces which will be serving as the pocket, and the length of each of this piece unfold is 11 inches. That's the length, 11 inches. Okay, now I'm simply going to open this up and then I'll place both fabric right sides facing each other. Right sides facing. These details I'm mentioning that are very, very important. Please make sure right sides are facing each other, hold them together and then open it up like you see on the screen. At this point, make sure that both fabrics are held equally, evenly. Okay, now once you have done that, the next thing you want to do is to get your front piece, the front piece of your pants. Get it. Then the next thing you do after getting your the front piece of your pants, we are going to place it on this our pockets just like you see on the screen. Okay, we are going to take out the exact thing we took out from the front piece of the main trouser. We're going to take that out of the pocket as well. Please, if you follow what you see on the screen, you may not even need any explanation. Okay, now I've cut it out and this is what the pocket looks like. Right now, moving on, I'm going to pin the pocket on the pants or the front piece like so. That part we cut out on the pocket, we're going to fix it on the front piece as well, just like you see on the screen. After pinning it up, we're going to take it to the sewing machine and give it a very good stitch. I don't know, I hope we are following. Now, after pinning up that area that I have highlighted on the screen, the next place we're looking to stitch as well is, first of all, fold your pocket into 2 equal parts like you see on the screen. Make sure the outer part is equal. Make sure everywhere is equal. Okay, exactly. Then you're also going to do the same thing for the other side of the pocket. Have you done that? Yes, you should do the same for the other side of the pocket. everything I'm doing has a very important reason, okay? So you hold it equal like I have done on the screen. The next thing you're going to do now is to stitch down that part I just highlighted. We're going to stitch it down and also stitch down the other side of the pocket like so. Now I'll take this sewing machine and effect the stitching immediately. After stitching those areas, this is what you should have. One part of the pocket I have pinned it up so that it stays firm. I'm going to show you how to do that with this second part. Now if you have closed those areas which I mentioned, hold your pocket equally again and then pin up with your main fabric, just like I'm doing on the screen. Now you will go to the side as well, that part where the pocket hole stopped. You're going to pin it together with the main fabric. Pin your pocket together with the pants, okay? Exactly, you can see the way I did mine, and the pocket is beginning to have shape, right? Yes. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to join this front piece to the back piece, and then we'll use our waistband to finish this band up. That is simply that about adding your pocket. Now this is how the wrong side of the pocket should look like. You can see how neat it is. You can see, you guys, you can see. You have eyes to see. Okay, so this is how the pocket will be from the back, and from the front you already know how it is. Now you can go ahead and stitch this down, or you can allow the pin to secure them. Just join this band together with the back piece. Okay, speaking of the back piece, this is the back piece for the trouser, and we're going to stitch up the crotch area. We're going to stitch it up together. Now listen, open your ears and listen. You see that crotch area? Make sure you stitch it about 3 times on the same line. What did I say? Stitch that crotch area about 3 times. Now I'm going to give you a simple reason why you should do that. The back of the pant has a lot of pressure when worn on the body, so it needs firm stitches to keep it going. Now you should have joined your front pieces to the back pieces, okay? I've done that, and this is what I have. You can see that the moment you join the back to the front, your pocket automatically is ready, okay? It is secured. The back piece is the final security that pocket needs. Now the only thing left for us to do is to fix our waistband. Okay, now for the waistband, the width is 5 inches while the length is as wide as the waist of the pant. Okay, so I folded in with 1 inch for seaming allowance. I used 1 inch because I wanted that band to have weight. So yeah, I wanted it to be full. So you're just going to go ahead and fix the waistband round about the waist, and then after that the next thing we'll do is to add our elastic. Now you should go ahead and pin up before stitching if you're a beginner, okay? And when you stitch the waistband on the first layer, this is what it should look like. Now before I give this a permanent stitch on that band, I'll mark where I want the elastic to start from. The elastic will be starting from that last split I added on the waistline. I'll place my elastic on the band, and I'm going to secure with a pin. I'll be stitching this later on, but for now I'm going to secure with pin. The rubber or the elastic will run from that side of the trouser all the way to the back. Okay, so this made the hip area and the bum area look really full. Okay, so that's what it's gonna be. So you can see that I dragged the elastic all the way to the second side of my pant. So it ran from one point of the pocket all the way through the back and all the way to the second pocket, like so. So I've secured the elastic on the other side of the pocket. You can see it's already gathering my waist band. So the next thing we're going to do now is to stitch up the final unlocking stitch for the waistband. I don't know if this was clear enough, but yeah, I've shown you the process it takes to achieve a full pant with pocket.